Hey, what's good? What's good? In it live and booted up. It's looking good on Twitch. It's looking good on YouTube. What's good? I can hear myself. We're balling. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. It's gonna be pretty hype today. Not really today. Tomorrow's gonna be the hype day. Today, though, it's gonna be pretty cool. We got quite a bit to go through. I'm gonna start off today. We're gonna go into lore and check out the lore for the upcoming zombie season in Project Zomboid Roleplay. Forget if I put links in this live stream description. If I didn't, I'll do it after stream. But yeah, check it out. In the description, you can check out the website and shit. It's gonna be cool. There's been I counted today over 100 characters. There's multiple pages on pages of characters. But yeah, it's pretty ballin'. Yo, what's good, Rusty? Yeah, man, it's looking really good. I haven't watched the trailer yet. That's the only thing I haven't looked at. Evan character pages. I'm doing that today, fresh, blind on stream. But yeah, it's gonna be cool. Let me know if you're hopping into the next season, what type of character you're thinking of playing. I'm gonna be going, of course, doing a news character, bringing my my trope to the server. No, I want to do more investigative stuff, so I think that's gonna be a little bit in the middle between newspapers and maybe radio stuff. But I know I'm definitely gonna want to do some more newspapers this season. We got the season 17 trailer I have to react to live. This thing looks cool. Got a sub on my my third channel there. Now, I'm trying to remember what else was I forgetting. Yeah, we're going over lore. We're going over the trailer and stuff. So excited! I haven't written my page yet, but I'm whitelisted and got a character in mind. Hey, awesome, man! Yeah, no, that too. I was just thinking of that before stream. I was like, oh, there's got to be over 120 characters that were made, and I'll do a quick preview of some of them so you guys can see what we got coming up. It's pretty cool. There's a lot here. There's a lot of effort in some of these pages. When I played in season 15 and I put my 1,000 hours in, I barely worked on my character page. My character page for Kyle Crocodile is it's still super basic. I put a video in the background eventually after, and then put a little bit more background, but it's very basic, So yeah, if you don't got a character page out yet, don't worry or fret really. Take your time with it, It might be easier too for you, because I didn't really have too much of a clue on how I was gonna play the character. I had a few ideas, but once the season started, I knew right away how I was gonna go. But yeah, going to I think see this around here, page 5, yeah. So 5 pages back, there's what 25 on each page, or 20. I'm not yeah, 20. So there's a good 100 characters to look at. It's crazy. Gonna be a mechanic, hoping to bring some Polynesian spice to the server. Hey, nice, man. No, that sounds decent. Mechanics are fun to play too. If you play something that this has general use, with almost everything does, but yeah, if you can help people, it's a great way to strike a connection. It's gonna be cool. These are all the characters and stuff. Let's check out the trailer. I think finally, I've been putting it off. I was gonna look at it the other day, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out on stream so I can be like, wow, and react to it live. But yeah, this is the trailer for the season 17.
You're about to enter a new era. The US and the USSR shocked the world in 1974 by signing the 10-year plan, a landmark agreement that shifted their rivalry into cooperation. Instead of an arms race, the two superpowers focused on joint space exploration, technological advancements, and economic collaboration.
Now, imagine new flavored ground coffee.
The Apollo-Soyuz test project successfully launched on July 15, 1975, marking the first international crewed space mission. American and Soviet spacecrafts docked in orbit as astronauts and cosmonauts exchanged handshakes. This began the era known as NASA fever in the United States, with public interest on anything space-related on the rise.
Our movie premiere, Earth 2.
Exciting news from the Conjoined Space Program facility out of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Construction has begun on the $4 million compound that will house some of the world's greatest scientific minds. Our Russian allies are making progress with completing their companion facility, about halfway towards completion according to recent reports from the Kremlin.
And if you need more than an office visit, you have vast resources.
Celebrations across the world tonight as the final preparations for the Tranquility Moon Base are completed. According to the numbers, this live broadcast has 2.3 billion viewers, beating Live Aid's numbers significantly. Live companion broadcasts from the White House and the Kremlin following closely behind.
They want to control us, but they're con.
Project Vulcan has successfully launched its first mission, delivering construction materials to the moon base Tranquility. Piloted by two brave American astronauts and two Neprovian cosmonauts, the shuttle made history as humanity begins its reach into the stars.
Well, folks, we're down here in Battery Park to speak with the people about the eclipse viewing party tonight. The crowd is absolutely electric as folks are trying to find a good spot to observe the eclipse. In just a little bit, we're going to be speaking and meeting up with Dr. Edmund James. Excuse me just a moment here. There's been some developments from Moonbase Tranquility.
Uh-oh.
There seems to be some sort of situation. We're getting word that... Oh my God. This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Wow. Alright. So, to digest a bit of that. That's cool. I heard mentions of Neprovian. So that's cool. Maybe like that stuff's gonna be carried into this world. Or I don't know, like characters or the place. I could be wrong on that though. Yeah, starting from the start, you know, it's very focused on the space race. I think this is gonna be sick. The whole the whole world was tuned in, over 2 billion people. That's a lot of people. There's like 7 or 8 billion in the world. So like a quarter of the world would have been watching this thing. Now yeah, so we're gonna go into the lore for people that like, you know, yeah, if you haven't like figured out what the fuck's going on, how did the zombie apocalypse start? This is how it officially started, you know? Not in real life, of course, but in PZRP. When it starts in real life, I'll have those streams coming out day by day. But until then, you know, we're rocking it on here. I'll start off with introduction and then go into some other stuff. So we're gonna be beginning with July 11th in 1991. It's currently 14:07, so that is 2 p.m. 2:07. All eyes were on the sky. NASA fever still gripped the nation, the joint operation of the USSR and the USA having propelled humanity further into the stars than we'd ever hoped. Watching the solar eclipse through thick, protective glasses, it was easy to imagine the people up there at Base Tranquility looking back at the cerulean jewel that is our planet, pausing in their research to stop and wave and wonder. The world felt still, peaceful. Birds stopped singing, the lunar shadow crossing the ground. Something went wrong. There was a burst of light, brief, small, but painful enough through the thick plastic glasses we were all wearing. An explosion. Then, the rubble started to spread out from that brilliant halo, impossibly slow. chunks of rock scattering in the far, far distant sky. Reverence turned to horror. So it's some type of solar eclipse that the whole world's watching, and goes wrong. Something's bad. News was scarce. News was scarce amidst the panic. Yes, the anchor confirmed. There had been an explosion. Yes, significant damage has been done to the section of the moon. Yes, it is the section where tranquility was set. No, no one knows how or why just yet. Significant meteorites expected. All citizens of the United States are advised to shelter in their houses. Debris should be considered highly dangerous, likely radioactive. All right. So debris falling from the sky. It's bad news. It's not good for no one. That's pretty straightforward. What exactly causes the zombies or the people to become undead? I haven't pieced together quite yet, but I think it's related to the asteroids, if I had to guess. And with it being radioactive, at least according to my calculations, if I think back to season 15, we had hazmat suits and other stuff. I could see that definitely coming into play. That way, we have some type of barrier for going to these areas, because I'm sure I don't know. I just imagine there might be meteorite zones that are going to be highly dangerous, But yeah, so debris falling. Our people are in the houses, freaked out. And it's the next day now. Was it the radiation? Atmospheric disruption? Whatever the cause, the world woke up on July 12th with a general sense of malice. Even with the healthiest individuals were overcome by lethargy. Lethargy. That's a new one. Alright. A lack of energy and enthusiasm.
Lethargy.
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 Lethargy. Okay. Learned a new word today, too. Ain't that something? Finding it hard to do simple daily tasks and quickly tiring. News anchors dragged themselves in front of cameras. People worked in shifts where they could. Infrastructure threatening to fail as all flights were grounded. Travel became impossible. The official advice remained the same. Shelter in place. Do not approach any meteor sites. Look after each other. More news will come soon. And fatigue won. Sleep came. That night, we had the worst nightmare of our lives. It turns out we were the lucky ones. We woke to an eerie silence and loved ones who wouldn't stir. Half the world, dead overnight, passed apparently peacefully in their sleep. Husbands awoke to find their wives cold and empty. Isn't that just another day? But I'm playing. But yeah, so husbands awoke and their wives were cold and empty. Parents staggered into their children's bedrooms and found them carried and still. That should have been the worst, but it wasn't. The worst thing was the ones who didn't stay dead. They made no noise, filmy eyes unseeing, clawed hands outstretched. They grabbed and bit and tore. News came over the radio for the first few hours of the day. But how long will it keep up? What do we do now? For those of us in Knox County, the answer came when we heard the signal. People of Knox County, if you can hear me, listen well. This is an SOS. My name is Dalton Benning. I'm a director of a team of highly qualified engineers. Our stronghold, a secure facility on the south of Pitstop. It's under siege. See of those things. Do not have the manpower to starve off the wave of bodies that is beating down on our only way in and out. I beg of you, save our lives. This is Survivor. So that's the end of the message. Survivors, scientists, maybe people who could explain what happened, and fine. Oh my god, sorry. My brain just hurt. Survivors, scientists, maybe people who could explain what happened and find a way to stop it before it got worse. At the very least, people who are still among the living are not trying to eat us. The answer was clear. Hurry to the south of Pit Stop and pray. Or go it alone and hope for the best. Damn. Welcome to season 17. We are now back in Knox County, Kentucky in 1991. Scarcely a day after a huge number of humanity turned into mindless undead overnight. This season sees a light alt history, see the timeline below for more details, and a focus on strangeness, cooperation, and a little bit of cosmic horror. Launch date is March 21st, 2025, tomorrow at 5 p.m. EST for me. Using parts of a vanilla map and a few notable additions, there is the option to apply for lore factions if you want to try something a bit risky, or put yourself for a lore special. This is something we're introducing this season as a unique way to approach the meta plot and potentially open yourself up to be just a little bit odd. The price, letting the lore team mess with you. See the group section for more details. So there's a few different lore groups as well this season. I think it's pretty cool. Like,
in orbit.
I want to watch the trailer for a moment again.
We're about to enter a new era.
But it's a very good, straightforward timeline. The whole world's watching the eclipse. Something bad happens, and then boom, you know? World goes to sleep. Half of the world wakes up. The other half is dead. And the ones that, like, aren't dead are starting to wake up as zombies, which is awful, you know? So, that's going to be crazy. I believe the starting scenario, from what I can gather, of course, is the south of Pit Stop, a stronghold or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna lower the volume on this. I think it's looking really good. It's been quite a bit, like over a month or so that this has been being put together, and it's looking really nice. I mean, I'm sure it goes back even farther from ideas and other stuff, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of people focused on this project right now. Staff team is all locked the fuck in, working on it. There's a ton of players as well who are putting a lot of time and effort into their pages. I've heard some crazy stuff about some pages that we're going to be checking out later, so I'm excited for that. In this season, I'm really excited about the kind of like space stuff, you know, that whole aspect. There's a lot of mystery behind like space, just period, you know, but combining that into the story, you know, how this all happened, what caused the eclipse, was it natural? I don't know, just there's a bunch of different things, and how to stop it, you know, etc. Is there a way to stop it? There's a lot of things that come to mind for me. Reason why I play this server and I like to play Zomboid is the whole idea of rebuilding humanity in a you know, in a situation like this where zombies are amongst. So it's gonna be cool. There's so many different themes and aspects and stuff that like goes into the game though. I want to be trying my best to do like a lot of investigative work and crap like that, you know. I'll show you guys my character later. But I'm really excited. I love this whole idea of just the theme. I think it's pretty approachable for most mofos, you know. And
there's been some developments from Moonbase Tranquility. There seems to be
yeah, it is wild. You imagine watching the eclipse and then boom, zombie apocalypse. That's real as fuck though, that's how it be. So, going back into the lore. I do kind of want to go over the timeline. It's a little bit, but I think it'll, you know, help you guys as well. So if you want to skip, the timeline and lore groups part, look in the live stream. You can see when I'm looking over character pages, because that'll probably be the majority chunk of it after. But I do want to go over this stuff with you, because there's some good shit in here. So, this timeline is exceptionally detailed with the intention of providing players who have an interest in the alternate history with specifics that they can bring into their backstories. Players can also find a summary of the major changes in the frequently asked questions and focus on the recent events if they prefer. So, this one, nice. It doesn't start out in medieval times. It starts out in 1974. So, 1974 starting. After Nixon's resignation, the now President Ford takes a much more cooperative tone on foreign policy. To the surprise of many nations around the world, President Ford and General Secretary Brezhnev publicly reveal a new radical idea, the 10-year plan, to go into effect in June of 1975. This plan, composed of domestic, international, and economic policy changes for both countries, is intended to reduce tensions between the two nations and to encourage trade and cooperation, among them the lessening of embargoes against the USSR from the US. Oh, I'm sorry. Holy shit. Fuck, dude. My bad. As well as the request that, over the course of the plan, the USSR lessens its authoritarian attitude and cultural repression of its citizens. This proposal is initially wildly unpopular. The most upset people accuse Ford of being a traitor to the country, of the coattails of the Vietnam War, and with so many American lives lost, the decision to willingly work with a communist country so closely feels ridiculous. There are riots in the streets and demands for President Ford to step down, though only for a few days. In a rather pathetic but somewhat helpful public address, President Ford promises the American people that there will be significant benefits to the average American's way of life as a result. Skepticism is heavy. The strategic arms limitation talks, SALT, continue, dubbed SALT 2. So then going into 1975, the Vietnam War comes to an end. President Ford having asked Congress to further funding to resupply the south of Vietnam is denied. As tanks roll through Saigon, Ford gives a televised speech declaring an end to the war and the U.S. aid being sent. This senseless loss of life, in addition to the 10-year plan and Ford's unbelievable pardoning of Nixon, puts the people's trust in the U.S. government at record lows. The month of June arrives, signaling the start of the concerning 10-year plan. U.S. and USSR embargoes hesitantly start to slacken over preceding 4 months as to not catastrophically disrupt trade. Both nations are careful to not let cultural pollination occur where they can help it. Through the market for media from both countries is high. In fact, most goods from both countries are in very high demand. Once US and USSR trade cautiously resumes, prosperity, seemingly waiting right outside the gates, returns in force. Grain, steel, electronics, fuel. 2 of the world's largest countries now give to one another. For the economy, it is a gasoline to a bonfire. So, the economy at least starts booming. That's what it sounds like. For culture, however, it is an uncertain time. Decades spent in opposition cannot be wiped away overnight, and many Americans worry of the potential that they are being taken advantage of. The Soviet Union successfully lands another probe, Varana 9, on Venus, where it takes photographs of a surface successfully. The United States and Soviet Union carry out the first joint space mission, the Apollo-Soyuz Test Project, ASTP, in which the first handshake in space occurs between two nations. The first handshake in space. That's hilarious. Love the space aspect and the eldritch horror themes. Yeah, no, it is really hype. Like it's just cool stuff. It's stuff that everybody can get behind, I feel like, or like there's some interest in. So many different characters that would be in this world. So then in 1976, the first time in a long time that the United States and Soviet Union greet the new year as something other than implicit enemies. It will take some time before the American people trust the USSR, let alone their own government. While President Ford awkwardly fumbles through his presidency, his cabinet and Congress make the moves necessary to capitalize on this incredible opportunity the 10-year plan has given them. The policy of lessening strain, the detent, starts to take effect. Agreements between US and USSR are made regarding arms control and each country's interference in the other's affairs, namely proxy wars in South Asia and the Middle East. In a televised interview in February of the year, Brezhnev makes a playful comment about the July 1975 Apollo-Soyuz handshake, stating both countries will be due for another soon, though one uh, though one cannot shake hands in the same place twice. President Ford responds that the U.S. will have to see about it. NASA, perhaps unexpectedly, is given a significant amount of funding to pursue this. In late 1976, NASA announces to the US that it is ready for a second ASTP, citing that it is only waiting for the Soviets to be ready. Funnily, the CCCP announces to the USSR that it is ready for a second ASTP, citing that it is only waiting for the Americans to be ready. One of these is probably true. Regardless, it is stated for March of 1977. And yeah, going into the next year of March 1977, President Ford narrowly wins the re-election over Jimmy Carter despite his awkward motions and controversial pardoning of Nixon. The palpably immediate success of a 10-year plan ekes him with the win. Ford implements further trade deals with the USSR and the US, further strengthening the economies of both. In February, the USSR launches Soyuz 24 to dock their Salyut 5 space station. The American space station, the American Space Shuttle program's first test flights begin. Shortly after, in March, there is another meeting of the Apollo and Soyuz missions in space between American and Soviet astronauts. Another magnificent triumph in the space program of both countries. While both the US and USSR celebrate and slightly downplay the other, the rest of the world worries that the future potential of satellite-based weaponry. SALT 2 is discussed further, facing economic success and a significant lessening of tensions. American and Soviet diplomats and lawmakers agree on many things, while Ford and Brezhnev came to a basic agreement in 1974. It is now that the agreement in its entirety is approved. A glimmer of real peace gleams on the horizon, a shining day free of looming darkness of a nuclear holocaust. It was a good year for both countries who see growth in many areas. Star Wars releases becoming a supermassive hit nearly overnight. Sweet. Cool. So Star Wars is prevalent in this world. Funny story, I remember in season 15, because you could like reference other media. I remember it was either me or someone else tried to reference Star Wars, and the people there were just like, "What are you talking about? What is that?" Like we weren't supposed to be talking about it, but I swear it's okay. Like we're not gonna be we can call them zombies, but we gotta be like RP or humane about it. You probably wouldn't want to call them zombies in real life, You'd be like, damn, that's like my mom, but infected and shit. It's gonna be cool. So, Moving into 1978, the stellar Renaissance. The USSR's worsening relations with China mean that the US get a much bigger piece of the pot. Ford and Brezhnev both decide, either due to pragmatism or vanity, to declare a friendly rivalry between one another. That is to say, both countries continue the space race. Now, this time not as a precursor for nuclear Armageddon, but instead to send mankind to the stars and to see who can do it best. Pessimists say it's a distraction. Optimists wonder if they are viewing an end of a Cold War in their lifetimes. The result is a new age for US culture. NASA fever is a second wave space race hysteria through every schoolroom, every place of business. It's revivals of 50s concepts of neo-futurism, both in fashion and in ideology. The USSR invests heavily in its own infrastructure, coming very close to providing electricity to the whole country. Chernobyl Reactor 1 and 2 come online, paving the way for further, more rapid modernization. However, Brezhnev's rapidly declining health and increasing drift into authoritarianism means that many citizens living in the Union are still facing restrictions on their cultural freedom, even with a 10-year plan influencing policy. So it's a pretty big year, lots of trades. You can only imagine, like, in classrooms and in businesses, like, what the talk would be day to day. Everybody would be like, yo, the fucking space dudes. You know, there's a lot of space stuff going on. A lot of talk about if we're going to be moving to the moon, and stuff like that, I would imagine. So that's cool. Going into 1979 into 1980. The first half of Ford's second term begins with consistency and further confidence above what he exhibited during his somewhat lackluster but successful first term. However, at this point, a rift is emerging in the Republican Party over whether they are being too easy on the communists or not. An official schism forms. Colloquially, holy shit. What the fuck? What is that word? In the language of ordinary or familiar conversation.
Colloquially.
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 Colloquially. Okay. Whoever put that word in here, fuck you, man. we couldn't find a less difficult to pronounce syllable. God, that word almost killed me, yo. But yeah, called the Pro-American Party, abbreviated as PAP. Regardless, industry improves, computers improve, corporations big and small rake in record profits, home prices stay stable while the average wage rises. Various industries, from STEM to art, now benefit from the occasional visitation of some of the USSR's brightest minds. Cinema evolves, expectations for the future evolve. The average American citizen and visa resident starts to feel as if they're living in a golden age. NASA's funding is the highest it's ever been, building launch sites all over the United States. Joint US and USSR collaborative scientific centers open up in many states for high-caliber scientific research. The world holds its breath as the Soviets posture at the Afghan border, but a clever shifting of soft power ensures that the conflict never comes to a head. The 1980 Summer Olympics are held within Moscow. Many nations send their athletes to compete, yet all eyes upon the friendly rivalry between Team USA and the USSR's own. Alright, so yeah, it's a good time for motherfuckers right now. They're balling. Everybody's like rich, they're prospering right now. Moving into 1981. Democratic candidate Benjamin Caldwin handily wins the election over Republican candidate Ronald Reagan. Independent candidate John Anderson and pro-American Party candidate Keegan-Williams, experts cite Caldwell's success arising from the Republican vote being split in half between GOP and PAP. President Caldwell's platform is that of heavy cooperation, increased trade using newfound wealth for better social programs, etc. 6 years into the 10-year plan now, in 1981, it's announced that NASA and CCCP will collaborate on the creation of a lunar research base within the decade. The Lunar Research Base project will include frequent travel to and from the base in order to bring home minerals for study, as well as rotating a crew to minimize side effects from the time spent in low gravity. Perhaps the space race will be finished with both runners hand in hand. Both countries jointly create the Conjoined Space Program, CSP. This is the first official effort to create an international space program, with other countries inquiring as how to offer their brightest minds for the effort. Each nation keeps their respective spacefaring organizations, but each one contributes to the CSP. Yearly summits are scheduled. Official CSP offices are set up in the US and NASA hotspots, Florida, Ohio, California, Texas, Kentucky, and otherwise. Astronauts become celebrities not just to the scientific community and hobbyists, but also to the common citizen. General Secretary Brezhnev's health begins to rapidly decline. It is predicted that he will die within a year or two. Damn. Okay. CSP's Project Vulcan, the plan for stoking the moon with moon-based construction materials, sends its first rocket into orbit. Vulcan 1 is manned by a combined CSP crew of 2 Americans and 2 Deprovians, and is the first international manned mission into space. The mission is a success, though there will need to be dozens and dozens more launches before the lunar base is completed. The CSP announces the name of a prospective lunar research base, Tranquility. Brezhnev dies. Mikhail Gorbachev ascends to the seat of General Secretary under the blessings of Chernenkov, whose similarly failing health meant that Gorbachev was acting in all his duties regardless, widely seen more as a liberal voice among a less flexible Soviet old guard. Gorbachev's ascension holds the potential to further signal the end of the Cold War. Alright. So then that goes into 1983 to 1989. So, starting at 1983, going into 1985, the world continues on. Gorbachev's efforts to ease the USSR's bottleneck on culture and propaganda find success, and soon, American cultures begin to more healthily take root in Russia. Likewise, with the failure of a PAP to elect candidate Williams or to secure any congressional seats, the pro-American party dissolves. The American people have at this point become more charmed with the Soviets, though still critical of communism. Admittedly, though, by this point, Russia has drifted further from socialist ideology, while other Soviet republics struggle to keep up. Russia still maintains lip service to Marxist-Leninist ideologies, though in practice continues to benefit from capitalism. President Caldwell and General Secretary Gorbachev meet in Washington, D.C. to discuss ending the 10-year plan. This event is widely televised by U.S. and Soviet news, with both leaders leaving the meeting on even terms and in good spirits. Both leaders make a promise to create a brighter world for their people without the looming shadow of nuclear violence. Many historians agree that it is at this point that the Cold War between US and USSR finally ends. President Caldwell handily wins re-election. Space rocket launches increase in frequent until the Conjoined Space Program is sending Vulcan Project rockets to the moon twice a month. NASA and CCCP engineers, astronauts, and cosmonauts go from untested to highly experienced in matter of weeks. Wow. So yeah, I appreciate the stream, you going through the lore. I haven't been able to read up on this because work. Hey, no problem. Hey, thank you for that. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, no, I like I like going through with other people and hearing their opinions too and stuff, you know. If you guys watching the stream after it's all done, you know, um leave some opinions in the comment section. So far I think it's really good. So it's basically saying for like the 10-year plan, there's a lot of like economic growth. People are kind of just chilling, you know, there wasn't as much war, and they're trying to steer away from nuclear war. So the Russians made zombies with the fucking moon. I cracked it already. No, I'm playing. So that was there. So let's go into 1986. On January 28th, the Shuttle Challenger falls apart on launch, killing all 7 members on board. Oh god. That's a fucking turnaround, dude. That's a fast turnaround. We were so on up. This disaster is seen by a vast majority of Americans live on television and rapidly becomes a topic of hot debate. All launches are halted for 3 months to investigate this failure, as well as the potential safety conditions of NASA's own programs. A loud minority claims sabotage and is ignored. Adjustments are completed, promises are made. Flights pick up in late April, sending the first Tranquility construction crew to the moon, complete with their advanced suite of working vehicles. The achievement brings on a high sense of hope and optimism for both Americans and the USSR alike. People sit glued to their televisions to watch the live footage of Tranquility being built. An astronaut named Michael Ayers makes headline news when, during a surprise paparazzi ambush, he breaks a man's jaw with a solid punch for insisting that the moon landings are fake. This is regarded as a highly popular decision. A follow-up interview asks him when he is going to run for president. So, somebody says the moon landing's fake, and this guy punched him in the fucking mouth. Okay. So that was for 1986. Now we're moving into 1987. In early October, a break is reported in a NASA facility. The story is quickly caught on by the media, and the news spreads like wildfire. A spokesperson for NASA vaguely implores the thieves to abandon what they've stolen, and how the items could lead to some serious public health concerns. A manhunt ensues to get them back. So people broke into a NASA facility to steal some stuff. If for information, samples, who knows, you know? In early October, a break-in is reported in a NASA facility. Oh, I just read that part. I'm fried. It doesn't take more than a few weeks for the culprit to be caught in time for Halloween. Though only some of the stolen items are retrieved, the culprit, an American citizen identified as Steve O'Ditchell, is found to have been in direct contact with foreign agents from England and France. The US's international relationship with the rest of Europe worsened as a result, but these same countries fairly vocal of their concerns of the two growing powerhouses that are the US and the USSR. If conspiracy theories lingered in the back burner, these headlines spark the tinfoil hats back on. Another wave of far-fetched speculations rolls through that year, the most infamous one being that the stolen items were some sort of secret weapon that the US and USSR are hiding. Ooh. Okay, so that ends 1987's summary. Let's go into 1988. Quiet rumblings become outwardly spoken concerns. England, France, West Germany, and the other major European countries begin to worry about their place. The US and USSR have been poaching the brightest astronautical minds for nearly a decade, leaving the rest of the world without functioning space programs. Now, the space bloc, the US and the USSR, not only have hundreds of satellites and prototype space stations in orbit, but also have their foot in the door on the moon, a moon that could easily hide secret weapon testing. The result is the summer protests. thousands gathered outside the US and USSR embassies all over the world, demanding some slowdown of the CSP's progress. Some wonder if a nuclear threat is not the USSR, but instead the body of Europe. President Caldwell's term approaches its end. In a speech to the nation, he pleads with his people to be patient in a time of great world distress. This speech is unpopular, riling up more aggressive sentiment in the American political sphere. The astronaut Michael Ares is now a more famous figure for his explosive personality and imposing stature. Announces his run for presidency. Oh, so the astronaut who punched the guy in the face, he's actually running for president. Okay. Okay, I see. Now, moving into 1989. As a show of goodwill, the USSR of German leadership agree that the Berlin Wall is no longer necessary. Both countries have already thoroughly cross-pollinated. The Berlin Wall falls, but West and East Germany remain separate. In many places, the Iron Curtain relaxes where it can. Michael Ares, running under a centrist conservative ballot, wins the presidential election. He adopts the charming nickname Big Mike. And Europe continues to posture, now threatening to embargo both America and USSR with the power of UN. Big Mike famously responds, "Do it and see what happens." While Gorbachev's response is much longer and more diplomatic, the UN hesitates, unsure of a space block's capabilities. In a casual interview for a small-time channel, a US reporter says that due to privileged information he's received, that he's worried the USSR might be taking advantage of the United States. This attracts a lot of attention in conspiracy circles, especially since this is the first and only time it's mentioned. The reporter's career seemingly vanishes overnight. Oh shit, really? So, U.S. reporter says that the USSR might be taking advantage of the United States. It's only mentioned once, and then overnight, his career vanishes. That's fucking crazy, man. That's insane. My dude is not gonna like that shit. Okay, but now moving into 1990, the base Tranquility. So in 1990, in February, millions gather around their televisions to watch the final stages of lunar research base Tranquility be completed. Now, even on the nights where the moon is darkest, a glimmer of light can be seen of the lunar surface. With Tranquility operational, the space block celebrates while the rest of the world tries to decide what to do. Teams stay on site for up to 5 months at a time, with the travel to and from becoming commonplace enough that it is rarely televised. A new wave of hopeful aspiring astronauts start training to supplement those already working. The first McDonald's opens in Moscow. Let's go! That's what I'm talking about, man. They got McDonald's in Moscow. Thank the Lord. God is alive. In November of the same year, noted astronaut Jeffrey Mullihan is found dead on his home from an extremely violent suicide. The event is widely televised. President Michael Ayres appears visibly shaken on air, calling it an incredible tragedy and that he personally knew Jeff. Programs are put into place to evaluate all current and future NASA and CSP candidates in the U.S. for mental health. Now, moving into 1991. Tranquility produces the highest quality astrophysical research data ever. Experiments on gravity, on temperature, on living conditions, on the growth of plants and animals in a constant, lower gravity environment. Only a handful of developments that skyrocket the space block's technological advancements. Hundreds of millions of dollars go into NASA and the CCCP and the CSP. The occasional launch accident is nothing to deter any of the programs, not anymore. Mankind has tasted the stars, and now our appetite is ravenous. Cosmonaut Yuri Ilyich Gromsky brutally murders his wife and child before committing suicide. Holy shit. The similarities to astronaut Mullihan's death are sparse, but they're enough to raise concern. General Secretary Gorbachev says that loss is incalculable and unheard of. The maximum shift length on lunar research-based Tranquility is reduced from 5 to 4 months. However, weeks of poor weather grounded all June launches, leaving a shift of astro and cosmonauts on the base for an extra month. Damn. Okay, so now this goes into the eclipse in 1991. Final part of a timeline. So, July 11th, 1991. A near total solar eclipse visible from the United States starts around 1401 and is due to conclude at 1407. Like we said, 2:07 p.m., 2:01, Millions gather to watch it, with many making space-themed parties and gathering for the event. At 14:05, there is a bright flash of light on the side of the moon, presumed to be an explosion, and then immediate obvious debris. 14:15, newscasters confirm that the flash of light was an explosion, and that contact with Tranquility has been lost. Everyone's waiting on bated breath as they announce more information to come. 14:49. Many assume an explosion of such size could only be nuclear in nature. This is later confirmed by President Ares, who solemnly states that Tranquility has been lost in a horrific accident that is seemingly atomic in nature. 15:45. Warnings are released that meteorites are expected to land across North and South America, including Knox County. Citizens are advised to stay indoors and shelter unless told otherwise by local emergency services. People are advised to treat any and all meteorites as highly dangerous due to potential radiation from the explosion. Not all take the advice, however, and some prepare to observe the rain of shooting stars to come. So 23:05, so now it's 11:05 p.m. The meteorite shower begins. As beautiful as it is dangerous, tens of thousands of moon fragments light up the night sky and cascade to the earth. Yeah. So now going into the next day, July 12th, 8 o'clock. The entire country reports experiencing a general feeling of malaise, accompanied by excessive fatigue and lethargy. Individuals are able to push through this for short bursts, but any more than that quickly becomes impossible. Flights are grounded, news is restricted to mostly radio, theories include minor radiation sickness, atmospheric disruption, space flu, and tidal fluctuations. Most sources say the symptoms aren't expected to last more than a day or two. 23:59. Even those who try to fight it succumb to exhaustion, falling into a deep sleep. They dream. No, not dreams. The worst nightmares anyone has ever experienced, where you briefly surface from sleep with tears streaking your face and skin soaked in sweat, only to fall back under. They are vivid, realer than real, and the confused, jumbled images stay seared in the memory. His images seared in memory. Damn. Okay, so going into the next day, 6 a.m. People begin to rouse from their sleep. Some do, at least. The television is quiet. The radio comes through in bursts, and all around there are dead. There are the dead, both those who died and stayed out, and the ones who got up and started walking. People are forced to flee their homes with little more than a clothes on their backs, chased out by pale, clammy hands and unseeing eyes. Flickers of news on the radio tell you that this is countrywide, possibly even global. 13:30, a very important transmission comes through, and the game begins. There we go. Went through a timeline. Pretty cool. I am excited for it big time. I think Yo, what's good, Cheddar? Welcome to the stream, homie. Just going over the lore for next season. On PZRP. Starts tomorrow at 5 p.m. EST. It's gonna be hype, man. Yeah, going like a little summary. Basically, the Soviets and Americans were working together in a space race from the 70s to the 90s in this timeline, and there's a lot of like a golden age. Like it was really good for a little bit, but it seems like near to the end something happened. Astronauts started going crazy. A something bad happened with the eclipse, and now we got motherfucking zombies to worry about, you know? So, this is gonna be pretty hype, I think. There's some lore groups as well. We got, yeah, like 4 of them. Yeah, it's gonna be cool, dude. And, going over the lore today. Let's look at some of these lore groups too. Um, the different types of groups that we're going to be seeing in the world. So we got the Community Emergency Response Team, player joinable faction. This is a lore faction. In the event of a crisis, they're always there. The people who step up. For those hiding from meteorites raining hell from the sky, this was CERT. Many of them were meeting for the first time. Paramedics, police, social workers, firefighters, off-duty doctors, soup kitchen volunteers. They bonded together, kept everyone calm, and at the end of the night exchanged numbers. After all, there was still work to do. They just never imagined quite how much. As the horrors of the next 2 days unfolded, they coordinated. Where traditionally organizations were struggling as key figures were too exhausted to work, they filled in the gaps, working through their own fatigue to provide aid and assistance across the country. It was only natural that when it all really went to hell, they got in touch and formed the Knox County Emergency Response Team. Now they're doing what they can do to. Now they're here to keep doing what they do best, stepping up and offering aid as it's needed. So this lore faction exists for 2 primary goals OOC. To create a central hub for players to find role-playing connections, and to provide a clear and active path for new players to meet people and get involved. We are looking for active players who like making IC connections and bringing new characters into the thick of things. So yeah, this is cool. These members are all picked out now. I'm not sure if people will be joining it throughout the season or how that'll happen. But do you have an idea of your character? I do, dude. I'll show him off after quick before we look into the other characters. But yeah, I got my character all like made up. I got a face claim and everything already. But yeah, that's one of the factions. The other factions, I guess I don't really need to go in too much. There's the CSP. This is a background lore faction. So this isn't a faction that players can play, but this is going to be a faction that we will see in the world. We also have a the Division, which is a non-player character faction. So this is a like full NPC faction, you know, just to like provide lore and stuff. And that's about it, you know, there's nothing else other than like lore specials. And then we got like frequently asked questions. Is there a launch event? There's no boxed in launch QZ style scenario like we've had in season 10, 11, 13, 15, and 16. Players are not going to be confined to a single area. However, there is a launch story centered around one location, which we will be highly encouraging all players to go and get involved with. The lore faction will be heavily involved with this, and it will give players a chance to meet and make connections, with many events going on and plenty of lore. It will be possible to come and go IC and OOC, and indeed, some of the mini events might require it. So cool, we got like, it's not going to be like the prison, where we're all like trapped, you know? Or like campus. We're going to be able to like run around, do different stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to that part. Yeah, there's not too much else we gotta go through. That's pretty much all the lore. There is a what's it called? Like I said, all the frequently asked questions. But just before we go through all the cool characters that are available for us to meet this season, I'll show you guys my character. Danny Kamen. my man. It's my boy. I rated my own character 5 stars. Base, dude. Yeah, so this is him. He is 21 years old. He's from Knox County. American. I'm going very, like, kind of, like, basic, like, local to the area. He's gonna be a young, kind of brat kid, you know? Who he knows what he's doing. He knows how to survive and stuff. To a degree, at least. His main occupation is a journalist slash computer geek. And the faction I'm going to be trying to boot up this season is called True, Tactical Reconstruction of Unidentified Events. This faction's going to be about the tactical reconstruction of unidentified events. So all these, like, random, you know, nonsensical situations where there's a bunch of, like, bullshit with these, like, the space race and stuff like that. He's gonna be trying to be all over, like, what's the truth behind it and whatnot. And gonna be taking photos of everyone just like that, you know. I'm gonna be running around with a journal in one hand and pencil in the other. It's gonna be sick. I'm gonna go with chaotic neutral for this season because I don't know what I'm gonna get into, but I know it's gonna be chaotic. And we're gonna be having some fun with it, you know, trying to stir the pot and just create, like, some cool RP, you know. Danny used to play Ding Dong Ditch. We'll go into that in his background or whatever, but check out my equipment, yo. I put a lot of work into this. I spent like a half hour grabbing PNGs. But there we go, you know. He's got a water bottle, bong, backpack, etc. You know, crocodile water bottle. And I know a lot of people thought I was gonna go with another crocodile character this season, so I figured, you know, I'd get with it because search up Cayman, motherfuckers, me, you did, yeah, we're going over, like, going with a cool character, you know. I like the name Cayman, unique last name and whatnot. I think. Yeah, I'll start off with a top or whatever. Danny Kamen grew up in Knox County, raised in a small but cozy home to his parents. His father was a dedicated detective, always chasing leads and piecing together mysteries, while his mother took care of the home, working the occasional odd job for her family friends. But her full-time occupation was keeping Danny out of trouble, a near impossible task. From a young age, Danny was a walking contradiction, a mischief maker with a heart of gold. Whether it was pulling elaborate pranks at school, earning the title of Ding Dong Ditch Bandit in his neighborhood, or sneaking into places he definitely wasn't supposed to be, Danny thrived on the thrill of pushing boundaries. But he wasn't just a troublemaker. He was sharp, observant, and naturally curious. And his love for storytelling, like, technology and storytelling. Despite his rebellious streak, Danny excelled in most of his classes, except for geography, which he found unbearably boring. The only thing that could truly hold his attention was technology. Early on, he was glued to radios and television. When his father brought home a family computer, everything changed. The clacking of a keyboard became music to his ears. When started as a simple curiosity, turned into a full-fledged passion. Danny fell in love with writing. He began keeping a digital journal, meticulously recording his daily experiences, wild dreams, ideas, and schemes. To him, it was a way to preserve his thoughts forever. In high school, he took his passion for storytelling even further, joining the photography club and quickly becoming the school's unofficial journalist. The school's official journalist. Yeah, no, that's a thing. He's like a kind of like Kyle Crocodile. He was like an independent journalist. Like, he wanted to do his own thing, but he wasn't really backed by anyone specifically. He'd have like some local support, but you know, it's kind of rough being an undercover not an undercover, but like an underground journalist. He took the lead on organizing his senior year's yearbook, interviewing students and covering everything from sports victories to record-breaking GPAs. His style was unpolished, his approach unconventional, but his charisma and confidence made people open up to him. So, yo, what's up, Andre? Hey, what's good? Infomorph, I see ya. Yeah, I can't wait to meet everybody's characters too. Oh. I'm checking out Danny Cayman right now. It's me, Phil, aka Sergio. Hey, I see you, homie. I'm looking forward to it next season. I think it's gonna be super cool. There's a lot of people hyped to play. This is the dude I am playing. Yeah, the last few parts of his background story kind of explain a bit about how I'm planning to play him, his goals. After graduating with solid grades, Danny's parents decided to move to New York, leaving him behind with a family home and responsibility of paying for it. With bills to cover and ambitions to chase, he enrolled in college for engineering while juggling a pizza delivery job to make ends meet. From 18 to 21, he worked tirelessly, delivering pizzas by night, coding by day, and obsessively refining his most ambitious dream yet, creating a person-to-person communication network. Unlike fax machines, his vision was for a limitless data sharing system, something that could connect people instantly without restrictions. His computer setup was state-of-art, for 1991 at least. He was fluent in various operating programs, using them to write code, document his life, and track strange occurrences. But as time went on, a growing unease settled in his chest. Something wasn't right. In the days leading up to the eclipse, Danny monitored the news obsessively, bouncing between radio frequencies and television reports. The signs were there. Strange occurrences, missing people, cryptic warnings. The government wasn't telling the full truth. Fearing the worst, Danny backed up all of his files onto floppy disks, ensuring his research and personal archives wouldn't be lost to the chaos. Then, it happened. A nightmare of restless sleep gripped the world, and when he woke, everything had changed. Phone lines were dead, fax machines silent, the streets outside a walking nightmare. His hometown had collapsed into total chaos in the blink of an eye. So, this is what has made him into who he is going into Season 17, the journalist of the apocalypse. Danny doesn't believe for a second that this was random. He's convinced that there's more to this than just a simple outbreak. The asteroid impact, the timing, the immediate collapse of the communication networks. It all felt too perfect. Someone, somewhere, knew that this was coming. Grabbing his camera, notebooks, and pencils, he loads up his walkie-talkie, turning into the faint SOS calls of other survivors. He straps on his high school baseball bat, his only real weapon, and steps out into a world in ruins. His mission? Document the truth. Survive long enough to uncover who or what really caused this catastrophe. He sets out towards a rumored bunker south of Pitt's shop, unaware that he's about to become the last journalist in a dead world. Oh yeah. Yeah, that is Danny Cayman, you know? His big goal is he wants to make something like the internet that's better than the internet. More like space race focused. He wants a connection system, something where we could transmit data or transmit whatever the fuck we want, you know? Shout out to everybody who commented on my page, making me feel super special. Hopefully I'm gonna go through and check out everybody's character pages from here. I'm pretty sure everybody from that commented on my page put up their character page by now. But if not, I'll see it eventually. Yeah, that is my page. You can find it if you go to my account or you go check out characters Danny Cayman. Yeah, you know, we're gonna be playing fucking journalist. A little bit of a computer geek. I really want to go into the more like early 90s computer stuff. I think is really cool because that was like before internet and a lot of stuff was mainstream. So Danny was like, say, you know, like writing his own stories, learning how to code, right, learning how to make his own programs and stuff. But it was a way different time than it is now. But still, that means that his dreams are even more ambitious when it comes to setting up something like a peer-to-peer network, something better than facts. Um, he's going to be very optimistic and like confident that he can try to pursue something like that and make it happen, even if it's crazy. Um, oh, we also got the maps for the season. Let me I think I could show you guys like this. Yeah, there we go. You see the map now. Cool. So this is what we got going on. You guys can see the whole thing. We are in Kentucky. I don't think we're not playing with Louisville, which is kind of nice because it's fucking huge up there. But this is cool. A little handwritten map. A this is cool. They make this in real life. I'm asking. They're typing. Yes, been making them the past few days. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at little pawns. I'm looking at the little pawns. It was like immersive A+. You see the little, yeah. So we got Raven Creek to do. Watch eclipse. So if we watched the eclipse, go to bunker, survive. Oh, Morse code. Oh shit. How am I gonna figure that out? Let me think. Oh, okay. I gotta try to find a website to decipher Morse code. Yeah, it's sick. I like it. Morse code translator. I bet if this might not work. Okay. GDKTD 2 mads. I don't know if that's it. Maybe it is. I think that's it. I don't know. Maybe I can't figure out that part. That part's too advanced for me. That's okay though. I can figure out the map. I went ahead and drew the map nice. they drew the map and didn't like croc proof it, So I can understand this. We got the pit stop. This is where the area where we're going to be starting. Got Rosewood right here. We have March Ridge, Elliott Pond. We have Elliott Pond. Okay, so there's 2 more spots down here, and then Raven Creek. Okay, so that's the Kentucky map. We also got the sewers map. Let me show you guys the sewers. This is sweet because it does not look that bad. It looks honestly kind of nice. The main thing I noticed with like last season's sewers where they were long and they were also not connected. You can see here we can get everywhere. Go pit stop, you can go to Rosewood, you move a few more over, you're in Raven Creek. You can go to Elliott Pond, you know, quite a few different spots. I once woke up here. What the fuck? Don't drink sewer water. I saw someone trying to fish. Gross. Okay. So, those are sewers. Cool. I think that's... So that's the play area. Pretty sweet. I'm gonna go and what's it called? Stretch and hit a smoke quick, but I'll play this. I'll be back in like 3 to 5 minutes. But let me know what you guys think so far. Oh, sweet. The Season 17 mod packs dropped as well. I'll probably download that after stream. That's cool though. That's good. We're kind of like mad chilling, you know, until tomorrow. There's a bunch of characters to check out. Like I said, dozens. So I'm gonna go stretch. I'm gonna go hit a bong. New bong, new me. And I'll be right back, you know, we're gonna check out some of these character pages. Let me show you quick. We got a bunch of them here to go through. Look at all these. So there's page 1, there's page 2, it's page 3, page 4, then page 5. Yep, I'm on page 5. A lot of these characters are like, wow. So we're going all the way back to page 5. We got 5 pages to go through, about 100 characters to check out. I want to try to check them out. I'll check out all of them if I can. I want to, at least. I feel like that'd be cool. There's also like a ton of dev posts as well. Like if you guys are interested, you can always check out the forums, because people have just been dropping you know, their prologues for the season. And there's a lot of them. Compared to last season, there's a lot of good stuff in there. I gotta like check out. But I'm looking forward to it. It's pretty hot. What are you guys thinking about it though? You guys looking forward to the map, the areas and stuff? The lore, what's got you the most excited? Let me know. I'll be right back though. I'm gonna play the trailer for you guys. And I'll turn it up a bit so you can enjoy it.
You're about to enter a new era in
The U.S. and the USSR shocked the world in 1974 by signing the 10-year plan, a landmark agreement that shifted their rivalry into cooperation. Instead of an arms race, the two superpowers focused on joint space exploration, technological advancements, and economic collaboration.
Now, imagine new flavored ground coffee.
The Apollo-Soyuz test project successfully launched on July 15, 1975, marking the first international crewed space mission. American and Soviet spacecrafts docked in orbit as astronauts and cosmonauts exchanged handshakes. This began the era known as NASA fever in the United States, with public interest on anything space-related on the rise.
to our movie premiere, Earth 2.
Exciting news from the conjoined space program facility out of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Construction has begun on the $4 million compound that will house some of the world's greatest scientific minds. Our Russian allies are making progress with completing their companion facility, about halfway towards completion according to recent reports from the Kremlin.
And if you need more than an office visit, you have vast resources.
Celebrations across the world tonight as the final preparations for the Tranquility Moon Base are completed. According to the numbers, this live broadcast has 2.3 billion viewers, beating Live Aid's numbers significantly. Live companion broadcasts from the White House and the Kremlin following closely behind.
They want to control us, but they're calm.
Project Vulcan has successfully launched its first mission, delivering construction materials to the moon base Tranquility. Piloted by 2 brave American astronauts and 2 Neprovian cosmonauts, the shuttle made history as humanity begins its reach into the stars.
Well, folks, we're down here in Battery Park to speak with the people about the eclipse viewing party tonight. The crowd is absolutely electric as folks are trying to find a good spot to observe the eclipse. In just a little bit, we're going to be speaking and meeting up with Dr. Edmund James. Excuse me just a moment here. There's been some developments from Moonbase Tranquility. There seems to be some sort of situation. We're getting word that... Oh my God. This can't be happening. This can't be happening.
You're about to enter a new era in tech.
The US and the USSR shocked the world in 1974 by signing the 10-year plan, a landmark agreement that shifted their rivalry into cooperation. Instead of an arms race, the two superpowers focused on joint space exploration, technological advancements, and economic collaboration.
Now, imagine new flavored ground coffee.
The Apollo-Soyuz test project successfully launched on July 15, 1975, marking the first international crewed space mission. American and Soviet spacecrafts docked in orbit as astronauts and cosmonauts exchanged handshakes. This began the era known as NASA fever in the United States, with public interest on anything space-related on the rise.
To our movie premiere, Earth 2.
Exciting news from the conjoined space program facility out of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Construction has begun on the $4 million compound that will house some of the world's greatest scientific minds. Our Russian allies are making progress with completing their companion facility, about halfway towards completion according to recent reports from the Kremlin.
And if you need more than an office visit, you have vast resources.
Celebrations across the world tonight as the final preparations for the Tranquility moon base are completed. According to the numbers, this live broadcast has 2.3 billion viewers, beating Live Aid's numbers significantly. Live companion broadcasts from the White House and the Kremlin following closely behind.
They want to control us, but they're calm.
Project Vulcan has successfully launched its first mission, delivering construction materials to the moon base Tranquility. Piloted by 2 brave American astronauts and 2 Neprovian cosmonauts, the shuttle made history as humanity begins its reach into the stars.
Well, folks, we're down here in Battery Park to speak with the people about the eclipse viewing party tonight. The crowd is absolutely electric as folks are trying to find a good spot to observe the eclipse. In just a little bit, we're going to be speaking and meeting up with Dr. Edmund James. Excuse me just a moment here. There's been some developments from Moonbase Tranquility. There seems to be some sort of situation.
Remember that?
We're getting word that... Oh my God. This can't be happening.
How could this be happening?
This can't...
Another season. Project Zomboid Roleplay. Oh no. Alright. So we're gonna start going through some of these characters. They're gonna range from quality. We got like a lot of different characters in mind. We're not really gonna pick on anyone for like having a character page that doesn't have what like other character pages have and stuff, you know? I think people going through the effort to put a character's face to a name and stuff on here is huge. So everybody that we do check out, you know, big shout out to you and thank you for putting your character on. We'll start off with John Stone up here, number 1, and work our way throughout the list. Let's see. This one's by Woke Sage. His alias is Silver. So he's 51 years old from Texas. Deceased wife, estranged son, and younger sister. He's Roman Catholic. and retired U.S. Marshal. Cool. Cool. Like some cowboy vibes. Find a cowboy emoji. Cool stuff. They don't have a background yet. Background's work in progress, but nice. That's John Stone. It's going Ren Mercer. This one's by Pixtaxio. So this guy's 32. He's got some family that are all either missing or dead. Let's see. Ren lived in a small town neighbor of Kentucky with his parents, James, Maria, and older brother. His brother, Micah, was the black sheep of the family, always sneaking out, refusing to accept authority, any kind of it. Ren grew up close to his dad, helping him on a small garage where he worked as a mechanic at the end of the street where they grew up. Ren was a shy kid growing up, always more comfortable around cars. He loved the fact that he could know what makes them tick instead of humans, whom he never really understood. Just before everything went to shit, Micah had joined a gang, and that broke his parents' hearts. And Ren made sure that his brother knew. Micah had left for home, even when advised not to. Ren's parents sent him out of the house to find his brother. He eventually found his brother, but after an argument, he went back home. He knew something was amiss when he saw the door open and bloodstains inside. He then found his parents attacking their neighbor and longtime friend. With a heavy heart, he saw that his parents were not in control, so he gave them the rest they needed and he buried them. Since then, the guilt haunts him, and he continues the search for his brother. However, he doesn't know if he wants him to be alive because of all the pain he put Ren and her parents through. However, he may be his only family. All he wants is to survive, and to find out if exists someone who can truly be trusted. It's not bad. It's pretty cool. Guy looking for his brother. Let's check out Steph Delago. This is by Colin. Has some tunes and background video. Some cool face claim pics. This guy's birthplace is in Mexico. He speaks Spanish and English. This is cool. Background, the list. So, races. Okay. Boost the nice Chevy in Asia Town. Pit fight against Big Frank. Sweet payout. Sabotage upcoming Cario. Craig's favor. Transa in Knox County. Debts and protection. Remember where you come from essay. Okay, cool. I don't want a profile, but that face claim sure as hell don't look Hispanic to me. I love the page though, really cool. Upon further discussion, I apologize. Really fucking cool page though. Somebody told him. I think it's cool. This is good. It's a good page. Awesome page essay. I like it. Some good vibes. Background music's chill. Video's cool. This is a good one. In the list, this is... Oh, wait! Oh! Oh my god! It's fucking interactive, dude. Okay. He's got his debts all lined out. Betting, my favorite pastime essay, but Mira, this one's special. Let's see. I got that 7-1 lined up on Craig. Problem is, Craig drives slower. This is awesome. We ain't leaving that up to God, amigo. Nah, I made sure that shit was handled. You thought gambling was fair? Pendejo? I ain't stupid. See, I got solution. Davidson's brakes magically stopped working. I got the solution. Davidson's brakes magically stopped working, and I gave Herman Fernandez an adjustment to his engine. Free of charge, no less. Nothing major, just a little whoopsie in his fuel mix. Hopes he likes surprises. So this is some mischievous stuff he's doing against other people. Doing some mischievous stuff. Having a fight that he schedules. Cool. It's pretty hot. The death race. It was an artwork. So this is the result of the death race that he managed to win. This is cool. Yeah, wow. Interactive stuff is awesome. Good shit, Colin. It's a good page. Super excited. This is my first season. Hey, yo, big hype. I see you, Notch. What's up, Pebbles? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's awesome. We're like 24 hours from now, we're gonna be in Zombieland, finally, you know? I'm looking forward to it. Stanley McKinley. Let's see. So this guy is English-Italian, from New York City. Stanley McKinley was born and raised in New York City. At the age of 23, he plowed his way southward, trying to make his way as a pilot. It was hard times for being a pilot. It was a pay-to-play world where the work was hard to come by and earning time was ever difficult. He started loading chemicals for a small crop dusting outfit in Kentucky until they taught him to fly the plane. After some years there, he set off alone, buying himself an air tractor and starting his own crop dusting business. After 20 years without an incident, he crashed into some power lines during the moon event. It was as if the plane had a mind of its own and crashed him into the wires. He survived, though badly damaged, and stumbled his way to the nearest church, assuming a higher power was calling to him. Awesome. Stanley will survive. Great page. Good stuff. Next up, we have Dahlia Cortez. This is by Riot. Oh, nice. I like the background video. It's based. Yeah, we got a lot of cool pages to go through. So, Dahlia is 20 years old. An American Filipino. Features: smells like incense and spices, adorned in crystal jewelry, DIY'd clothes, dyed, patched, and pieced together. Wears a relaxed expression as if focused on something within. Always makes time for heavy black eyeshadow, like Siutsu. I should be careful just Googling. I don't think it's gonna lead to something crazy. Let me check. Oh yeah, no, I see. Super heavy eyeliner. Cool. Hearing is rough from too many nights by loudspeakers. Prefer the jarring blacks. Taste picked up at a show. Oh, here's their equipment. Jeez, man. This is real as fuck, though. This is what girls be bringing around with them. Have a wild purse, a lighter, some crystals, a notebook. What does it say? It says cat. Klausikaka. So it K-O-T. I don't know, cat, and then dog's name in Russian. And oh, hello, Colin. Hello, what's up? I have a very cute little cat. Spelt with a K. Okay. She studies the love of wisdom at LSU. Also work at Dottie for Donuts. Vibes. The Midnight Report's eyes. I'm pretty sure they're doing a, report thing. A, newspaper type of thing or radio thing. It's gonna be cool. Some media stuff. What the fuck? Oh, what the hell? Really did it. What is this, RPG Maker game? July 11th, 1991. Holy shit. Right. Made a fucking RPG game for your character page. Holy fuck. This is cool. Okay. You and Andrew stand on your apartment rooftop. Leaning against the guardrail, he fumbles with the Eclipse glasses packaging, struggling to tear through the plastic. Oh, why is this so hard to rip? With a small sigh, you take the glasses from his hands and slice through the plastic with a pocket knife you always carry. You can't help but hide your small grin. There you go. Andrew chuckles, shaking his head. Should have thought of that myself. You pierce the packaging, imprisoning your own Eclipse glasses. There's a nervous energy buzzing under your skin. Let me pause the song. I can immerse myself. But you try to mask it with excitement. Oh, damn it. I unpaused the song. Eclipses represent change, something disrupting the norm. And you don't want your norm to change. Not after last time. Oh shoot, the hells. It's about to pass. Put those and look up. You inhale sharply, forcing yourself to relax. Then, you slide the flimsy cardboard glasses over your eyes and tilt your head back. The moon begins its slow passage across the sun. Oh shit. Your heart races, just a little, as the world darkens around you. Change. A new beginning. A chance to let go of what's behind you. Then, a blinding flash. Andrew groans beside you. Ah! God damn, holy shit, dolls! Blinking rapidly, you wipe at your eyes. Trying to recover, you follow his gaze. Your vision is still spotty, but it refocuses. You see them. Chunks of rocks, floating slowly where the bright light had been. Did part of a moon explode? Yes, it did. We have to report this for midnight report. You stare at the massive, foreboding rubble, now fully revealed as the moon completes its passage. Before you can even begin to process what this means, Andrew jostles your shoulder, yanking his film camera out and frantically snapping pictures. Andrew's camera flicks curiously, the sound sharp against the eerie quiet. The afterimage of the explosion lingers in your vision, like a ghost of something too vast to comprehend. Shit. Dows, we need to get this down now. His urgency jolts you into motion. You nod, still dazed, and the two of you rush downstairs. The two of you begin working immediately. You scrambling for cutouts and magazines that fit the tone of this week's design, and Andrew frantically jotting down his first draft in a notebook like a madman. You worked for hours. It was getting dark. You allowed Andrew to crash on your couch. He probably spent most of his night making the sixth rendition of his first draft. Unlike him, the stress and weight of a day finally seem to catch up with you. You're tired and tell Andrew that you're going to bed. You feel the heavy need to check your entire apartment as the dread fills your mind once again. Then you can sleep for the night. Shit. Papers, magazines, and various arts and craft supplies scroll across the floor. After seeing such a sight, you and Andrew got to work on our next zine. You witnessed tranquility break apart in your own eyes. It was insanity. A solar eclipse on its own is a bad time. It bring bad fortune. This had to be something was going to change for the worst. You grasp onto the pendant around your neck. Counting the knots. 6 knots. You make a mental note to do a reading for yourself later. 6 cards. If the universe desires to say anything to you, it can. As the anxious thoughts filled your head, your grip tightens. Onto the pendant. You swallow the lump of dread in your throat. Your eyes blinking hard together for a few moments. Let's look around. So that's the bed. What do you like better as a headline? Moon-based mystery or all your base are belong to us? Moon-based mystery. Just clean, sharp, one stone to the other. No frills, just the marrow. It's simple, it's classy. Yeah, I'll go with that. Mysteries get attention, right? My sister always bought those shitty pulp mystery serials that never ended, no matter how many cliffhangers they hit us with. Anyways, it's a fine name. Already looked at this, my bad. You check if the stove is still on. It isn't. There's nothing, well, except for the Chinese takeout from last night. I should crush some cardamom to burn later. Want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I think I got everything. Photos, made the name. Ooh, right here. Oh shit. I skipped through. Perfect order, as it's meant to be. Fuck! Okay, I saw it said it was messy the first time, and then you fix it. That's cool. Alright, so we go to bed. If we go to bed, you look at your bed. Don't know if I can interact with. Oh. Oh. Yo. Harold. What items do I have? It's just placeholder character. Alright. I think we are chilling though. I don't think there's much else for us to grab. Andrew's too focused to talk right now. Ooh. There's nothing, well, except for a Chinese takeout from last night. I should crush some cardamom to burn later. Alright. I don't know if I can interact with a bed or not. Secret ending, you find a match and light the stove. Stop the outbreak. Gotta find it. I think I got everything. I'm not quite certain. Oh, Giles, I'm about to knock out. I'm crashing on your couch. You're a bit tired yourself. Sleep overcomes you as you slowly drift over. Neither you nor Andrew could have ever anticipated what would happen the following day. A new beginning. The first page of a story of how you died. This is how you died on her character page. Thanks for playing. It is done now. This game made me want to die, but thank you. Glaze me in the comments. I'm never doing this again for a character page. Good stuff. That's a good page. RPG Maker, more like RP Maker. For real great work. Cool. That was cool. Can't wait to meet them in the world so I can hear how people pronounce DAOs. I feel like I'm probably butchering it, but yeah. There we go. We then got Andrew R. Blair by Lunchmeat. Excuse me while I eat a bit. Oh, hot. Alright, so he's 21 years old from Staten Island. Scottish and Italian. It's gonna be a fun combo. Infrequent smoker, tends to be spacey. Okay, cool. What's this guy's backpack? He's got card, journal, lighter, coins, some pens. No, you can't see my wallet. What, you think I'm stupid? Student, I guess. Yeah, soon, he'll be a journalist for real, like Rosie, with any luck. That's his occupation. And a fellow journalist. Cool. Grew up in Staten Island, part of a huge family. In between hanging out at the pool hall and playing Donkey Kong, found some time to make small printouts and designs for local bands and shows. That's how I got started. I got really into a couple of foreign bands in my teen years. That probably influenced me too. It used to be a dream of mine to really pick up bands and map out all their inspirations. It sounded so cool to me. Still does. Taste changed though, and I gotta make a home for myself first. After finishing up high school, I got in my head to become a star journalist, like my eldest sister Rosie. So I packed up and went to LSU like she did. I guess I landed on my feet. I've made a few good friends here. While I didn't join the school newspaper, too cliquey for me, I've helped out at a couple of anonymous DIY projects with their newsletters. In the meantime, I've been helping this goth chick from my communications class with a little zine, Midnight Report. It's kinda out there, but I get to talk with a lot of interesting people, that's for sure. It's actually been a pretty fun project. It's too bad we'll graduate soon. Oh well, onwards and upwards. There's some cool graphics and story. Great graphics and background. The 5-star. Alright, now we got Delilah R. Quill. They're frantic, losing grip. So, they're from Louisville, Kentucky. Focus on their work. I prefer to keep my work and my beliefs separate. They're a psychiatrist. Oh. I hope things go well with them. Last season, or in season 15, psychiatrist character was the first one to commit suicide. It was rather unfortunate. Set the tone for the season, so hopefully this one keeps it together. Looks baller. Medical documents, multiple bottles of Xanax, all prescribed for herself, and then other bottles of meds prescribed for Karina Dyer. Who's Karina Dyer? Oh! Karina wouldn't look at me today. She sat with her back against the wall, legs pulled up to her chest, eyes fixed at a crack of a floor tile. When I asked her how she was feeling, she laughed. A shaky little sound. "Oh, you know, doctor," she said, voice light, just waiting for the sky to fall. I asked her what she meant by that. She smiled and turned to me, her eyes dark and glassy. "You'll see." She didn't say anything else after that. I waited for several minutes before closing the session. It's uneasy. I'm uneasy. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Have it so you can read it again. Karina greeted me today. That was surprising. This is their relationship with like a client. The 90s. Like a year before everything. In 1991, Karina said, "You're always tired," she said. When I brushed it off, I smiled. I told her it's what happens when you work long hours. And yet, you're here. I told her it's my job, but the way she smiled made me feel like I'd said something wrong. Feeling back, studying me as I flipped through my notes, I suggested picking up where we left off last time. Boring. Her tone was flat. I asked what she preferred to discuss. Trying to keep my voice steady, she smiled again. "Now you're learning." She noticed I was sitting closer today. I hadn't realized until she pointed out. Just a foot or two, but enough for her to notice. She said she liked it. I smiled nervously, telling her that building trust is important. She agreed. But her eyes were too sharp for the softness in her tone. "You came yesterday," she said suddenly. I frowned. I had, but only for just a minute, right? Just checking in. That's normal. You sat down. You stayed 10 minutes. I told her it was nothing, that I was just passing through, but she smiled like she knew better. I don't mind, she said. I like when you visit. I made a note in the margin, increase comfort in session, and forced my hand to stay steady. Karina was agitated today, pacing the room. It was February 14th, 3:30 p.m. Her hands were trembling. They're watching, Dell. Don't you feel it? I asked her who was watching. All of them. The guards, the cameras, the others. I told her that the staff are here for her protection. She scoffed. Protection from what? When I didn't answer right away, she stopped pacing and looked at me. Her eyes were sharp, cutting through me. From me? I didn't have an answer for that either. Damn. Oh, you can control it with mouse wheel. So then, Karina was tired on March 5th. So, Karina was quiet when she came in. Too quiet. She sat with her legs crossed, back straight, her eyes tracking me as I sat down. I started with the usual, asking how she was feeling. If she had any troubling thoughts lately. Troubling thoughts? That's what you want to ask me? I try to keep my tone steady. It's important we explore. No, 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 she cuts in, waving her hand lazily through the air. You don't actually care about the answer, do you? I told her that I do care. I meant it. She smiled, a sharp, slanted thing that never touched her eyes. Really? Then what color were my socks last session? My stomach tightened. I hesitated for a beat too long. Ah. She leaned forward, elbows resting on her knees, eyes gleaming. That's what I thought. I said that it's not about remembering every detail, but understanding how she's feeling. She smiled wider. If you can't remember the color of my socks, how can you possibly understand me? I started to respond, but she spoke over me, her voice soft but cutting. You think you know me, Dell. You think you figured me out. You think because you sit in that little chair with your little notepad asking your little questions, you have the right to tell what's wrong with me? My mouth went dry. I knew I was losing control of this session. I reached for my notes, flipping to the last entry to find some ground to stand on. My hands were shaking. You don't know me, she whispered. You've never even met me. I forced myself to look at her. That's not true. She tilted her head. Studying me? Then tell me, why am I in here? I said the wrong thing. Because you need help, her smile dropped. No, Dell, why am I in here? I should have corrected myself, reframed it, but I froze. My mind raced for the right answer, the clinical answer, but nothing came, just silence. After a long pause, she stood. You should know that by now. She walked to the door. Knocking lightly, the guard opened it, and she glanced back at me as she stepped out. Better luck next time, Doctor. I sat there for 5 full minutes after she left, my hands still clutching the pen. My heart was racing. My notes were a mess. I need to get better at this. I can't let her see the cracks. Okay, I think that's the end. Wow. Slash me looks to see what color of socks they have on. Great page. This was a cool read. Well, 5 stars on that. That's a good one. That's a good one. Alistar Vaughan.
You should come with me to the end of the world without telling your parents.
Oh, his family with Nep. Adopted assistant. Okay. That's kind of cool.
So we might live at the end of the world. But I know.
Let's see. So he is English and Japanese. Born in London. Alignment is question marks, and it glows. Another book. Book background. Eat some of this quick. So, it was written in 1958. Father's lectures grow tiresome. Another evening, but beneath the weight of expectations. Rehearsing the family legacy yet again, he speaks of discipline as though it were gospel. Inheritance were far heavier than any estate. Mother sits across from me, even silent, her expression carved from stone. Hands folded like a mixture of a norm or noom. I'm sorry, I'm awful at reading cursive. She knows well enough words are of little value here. After supper, I return to the study. Latin text father assigns offers no comfort. Each phase a shackle. Each translation, another link of a chain. But they serve their purpose. The mind sharpened like any blade is a tool best kept honed. It won't last forever. Sounds like Alistar over here was getting sick of his dad. This guy is a young one. So going forward to 1970 now, is like by like 12 years, is in Tokyo, Japan. The Tanaka household has become something of a refuge structured, measured, much like their lives. There is an understated grace in how they move through the world, reserve exacting. Mr. Tanaka's knowledge of traditional medicine remains a quiet marvel. Techniques passed through generations, precise in a way no formal training quite achieves. Nep, their daughter, is even watchful. She shadows the edges of each noom, bright-eyed, observant, a curious spark beneath her silence. Mrs. Tanaka hums as she tends to the kitchen, the sound slipping through the house like something fragile, deliberate. There's a stillness here that suits me. Predictable. Their trust is something delicate. It will it will require care to maintain. And going forward another 11 years to 1991. Now he's in Nashville, United States. Another appointment, Knox County this time. Passed along by familiar channels. A referral passed along by familiar channels. Nep travels with me, as she always has. There's a certain satisfaction in seeing how little she's changed. Still quick-booted, sharp-eyed, brimming with all that same restless energy I had noticed years ago in Japan. Mischief clings to her like a shadow. Some things, it seems, endure. Whatever past she's left behind suits us both, forgotten. She has long since woven herself into the rhythm of my life. The client's case should present no difficulty, and yet something lingers. That still tension before the air breaks. We shall see. Alright, so this guy's like a 50-year-old dude working for a client. Great. Awesome journal and page. Give him emoji. What kind of emoji should we give them? What about a star? There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oil wrapper. That was cool. Alright, Finley H. Canavan. This one's by Billy Bob. Let's check it out. So Finley is Irish American. He was born in Seattle. No clue on family. Oh no. His equipment. I think it's glitched. He's chaotic neutral, playing a journalist. Cool. He's got a newspaper here. Got the Louisville Report Special Edition, 1990. Soft clicking of a clock hit my ears as I sat at my desk, attempting to write for a spelunking speculator. All I've been able to write is the header. The great mystery of Aaron's accountings. I let out a soft sigh as I crumpled the paper, tossing it into the trash. I could write about better. Tick, tick. I looked up, checking the time. The eclipse should be starting soon. I got up from my desk and headed for the door. I set up in a spot I thought would be a good view. Putting on my shades, ready for the eclipse, I began to watch my left and right. Not a single person in the area. No parties, no sounds, just a man with his thoughts. Alone again. Doesn't matter. I don't have time for that anyways. Though, maybe I should write to Dad. My surroundings dimmed as I readied for the eclipse. We moved around a lot growing up due to his dad's job. As these are different spots he's moved around to. That's either 5 or 6. Extra X is 1. Okay. Tick. The flash. Suddenly, bright light went off in the sky as noticeable bits of debris, or what seemed like it at least, floated by. Everything felt like it had gotten even quieter for myself, but only for a moment. because as quickly as this silence stayed, it disappeared, being replaced by countless thoughts flowing through my head. A sign of war? No. An asteroid? No. That would have been reported. Tranquility? Well, it could be. I allowed an admittedly giddy snicker to myself as I sat up rushing back to my dorm. I practically slammed the door open and shut, pulling out anything that could work towards a new paper, my best work yet. A spelunking, speculator. Still fucking love that name. I have no regrets on that. That's his newspaper, I think? The minutes turned to hours, basically pulling an all-nighter, writing things down. The coffee cups would begin to pile up in the corner as I kept myself awake, writing down as much info as I knew. The sun rose and dimmed as I huddled at my desk, eyes getting heavier and heavier, the pencil slipping out of my hand, and as I hear the soft click of the clock before my consciousness fades. Awesome. Future, just remember who owns you for fixing your page. The equipment's all fucked up. Fuck, dude. Awesome page, fellow newspaper, bro. I'll find a newspaper emoji. I like it. Cool stuff. Do have to, the equipment's gotta be fixed, but yeah, that's about it. It's like pretty cool. Another newspaper character. Ophelia Grimes, crazy goth lady. Okay, so this is by Cake Aqua. It's from Virginia. Obsessed with occult themes, Ophelia believes that they are responsible for everything, good or bad. Volatility and chaos are parts of her life, after all. To some, this might sound like insanity, but Ophelia assures them that they're real and will always have God's name or two in mind to justify recent events. Raised by a deeply religious family member, Ophelia always felt out of place in her hometown. She'd often sneak out during lectures and skip class. During her later school years, she met a young girl who introduced her to numerous books about occultism and Eldritch theory, and Ophelia was hooked. They got knee-deep in books and research about the occult, learning about old gods, rituals, and every sort of oddity that they could think of. This didn't go well with her parents. They arranged to move far from those influences could sway Ophelia, and settled in a small, slightly isolated town. They enrolled her in a college nearby in order to try to get her way sorted out. Instead, there, she found a way to deepen her connection to themes of occult. Establishing a deep bond with two close friends, college was the only place Ophelia could really feel free. Eventually, Ophelia moved out with those same friends and established a small radio program called Tales of Occult, where they would tell stories and information about what they considered important about eldritch beings and their influence on our lives. The program did have its fans, maybe because of its name, or maybe because of their way of telling it, but these fans treated the program as a storytelling one, and didn't even fathom that some people might actually believe in it. As for detractors, they would call this as it was spreading satanic propaganda and corrupting our society. They were quite vocal. In fact, talks inside radio stations' quarters about a possible cancellation were already happening when Ophelia and her friends decided to head out in search of a way to independently fund the program on their own. Now, the recent happenings are all but a sign to Ophelia that one or more of these outer beings are displeased with our world, and she wants to know more in order to find which ones she will try to appease. That is, if the locals are going to be open to listen to our ramblings. This is a former radio host. Cool. Cool, scary vibes. This is a good one. By Cake Aqua. So yeah, cool page. Can't wait to meet them. Except we got Sunny Del Valensky. Holy shit! A lot of text. I won't read all of it. I will. I will go through a bit of it. This is cool though. Good shit, man. Good shit. This one's by Morden's Beard. Alias is Sunny D. Nice. So he's in his mid-20s. Neutral good. And yeah, he's a C- mechanic. Basically does whatever comes his way. Alright. Got no affiliation. But cool. So looks like he spent his early years as kind of a guard who's guarding marijuana transactions and helping move product across the border. His parents never approved of his choice to join the MC, but supported his pursuit of freedom. So he's trying to earn his patch. Kind of a bad kid. Bad dude. Not a bad dude, but yeah, you know? He didn't work for bad people. And then I see when he went through the eclipse and what his plan is. Okay. Yeah, he didn't have a plan, just a direction. Vibes. This is looking pretty cool. I kind of want to read it. So, as he's known on the road is a lone bike. Sunny D, as he's known on the road, is a lone biker in his mid-30s of mixed American and Cherokee heritage. Standing at 6 feet tall and weighing at 180 pounds, he carries an imposing yet lean presence. His father, a Vietnam War veteran, returned home delusioned and found solace in hippie commune. The commune, for all of its peace-loving ideals, regularly sold marijuana to a motorcycle club, MC, for distribution. Sonny grew up around these bikers, drawn to the world of loyalty, freedom, and raw authenticity. By his early teen years, he had already shown interest in the club, and by 16, he was prospecting. At 19, he earned his full patch. His parents never approved of his choice to join the motorcycle club, but supported his pursuit of freedom. He rides with a piece of his past always with him: his father's army helmet, his mother's hawk and jade necklace, and the bracelet they made for him at birth, crafted from petrified woods, bones, and semi-precious minerals. These items are the only physical reminders of where he came from. So in his early years as the enforcer, he had a share of run-ins with the rival motorcycle clubs and the law, taking and giving beatings as part of life. But it wasn't until he was 19, when he killed a man trying to rob the club's master-at-arms, that everything changed. The act was instinct, reactionary, not intentional, but it solidified his place in a motorcycle club along with his full patch. He was given the title Enforcer, marking him as someone willing to go the distance for the club. At first, he embraced it, but over time, the weight of it wore on him. He never liked killing. He never wanted that to be his legacy. Still, he didn't dwell on it, until the death of his parents shattered everything. The motorcycle club he rode with was absorbed into a rival faction, one that operated as a full-fledged 1% outlaw club. Under their leadership, his parents were killed. Holy shit. He didn't blame the new leaders, it was business, nothing personal, but he couldn't ride under their new banner. He dropped his patches and went nomad. Revenge, however, was personal. His sponsor, the man who had brought him into the club, had joined the new MC but remained loyal in his own way. He arranged a private meeting, giving Sonny the chance to face his parents' killers. Sonny walked away from that meeting, bloodied and broken, but the men responsible for his parents' deaths didn't walk away at all. Afterward, he had their bodies shipped back to their hometown for burial. His sponsors showed up at the funeral. They didn't speak. Sonny hasn't seen him since. The ride that broke him. The night felt wrong. Sonny has spent years numbing himself with pills and whiskey before she came along. She was different, wild but steady. Someone who made the road feel less lonely, or at least that's what he remembers, if she was real. The memory blurs now, worked bite to time, and too many nights lost in a bottle. He remembers the ride, Arizona back roads, sunset bleeding red across the sky, her arms around his waist. Then the headlights came. Too fast, too close. He knew what was coming. Maybe he'd always known. The truck swerved, and for a moment, just a flicker of time, he let go of the handlebars. Maybe if he wanted to see if fate would take him too. Then instincts kicked in. He laid the bike down, twisted his body, took the hitch so she wouldn't. Metal screeched, bone crunched, and when the world stopped spinning, she was still. The truck was gone. No tire marks, no witnesses, just science. Silence. He buried her into the desert, marked the spot with a stone, and walked away. Now he isn't sure she ever existed. The booze and the road have burned holes in his memory. Some nights he swears he can hear her laugh. Other nights he tells himself that she was just another ghost in a life full of them. Either way, he keeps riding. Because if she was real, then maybe, just maybe, so was she. Life on the road. Sonny now rides alone, a true nomad. His cut remains, stripped of all patches except the word nomad across his back. He has run into different charters of the motorcycle club that took over his old club. Most of his former brothers are either dead or in prison. To the new club, he's just a wandering rider. He doesn't avoid them, and has even taken odd jobs riding with them when it serves his purpose, but their style isn't his. He never stays for longer than necessary. For him, it's just him and the road. It's pretty cool. I think I am going to wrap it up around here for today. Because I got a message. I had to go do some stuff. Bit of a bummer, but that's alright because I think tomorrow before the stream starts, and go back and look at some more characters. I want to read, hopefully I'll read the rest of this tomorrow. Hardcore page, great work. Yeah, that was by Morden's Beard. A lot of different characters, a lot of different backgrounds for seasons. So we only checked out 11. Damn, I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna check out more before tomorrow, starting with Bo Davis, then Nep, and going backwards. It's pretty cool though. I am really excited, of course, you know. Yo, what's up, Doctor? Excited to get Enigma this season. Yo, you know it, man. You know it. Hey, yeah, I think it is Cowboys in Space this season. That's what we're hoping for, at least. That's the goal. But it's gonna be cool. That was a few character pages. I'm gonna continue off tomorrow, I guess, because it starts at 5 p.m. EST. I'll probably go live at like 3. And start from there. Start looking at some pages and getting ready and stuff. I gotta go download the mod list tonight too. I gotta remember to do that. I gotta check out some other pages, especially back here. A lot of these people. Way back in back in the pages. It's looking pretty cool right now. I think next season's gonna be pretty pumped, you know. We got a lot of people that are hyped for it. Like Rusty said, you know, a lot of people are going to be playing this season. They haven't made their character page yet, so they'll make it like during the season. I think it's going to be cool. We got a lot of stuff to look forward to. There's a shit ton of characters here to start with. We went over the lore though. We went over some characters. We're gonna continue off tomorrow, looking at some more, and then getting into the actual RP and game. It's gonna be cool. We don't have any like restriction either, so we can move around. We can actually do stuff in the game. There's no like quarantine zone or whatever, just like a focused area where stuff's gonna be popping off. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I suppose that's probably gonna be in Pit Stop over here. So yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going to try to base or try to live. I could go Raven Creek. I could go March Ridge. I might explore around the map first and try to figure something out for our boy Danny. But yeah, it's looking pretty hot. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe so you can see any videos or live streams that are coming up on the season. I'm thinking, I got some different plans in the works. There might be some big videos coming out of this season that go on Cool Kid Croc channel. So make sure you subscribe to my main channel on there. Either way, though, I know at very least I'm going to be doing all the live streams and trying to cover it day to day on this channel as well as the Twitch. So make sure you guys are tuned into that. Live streams will be left public, so afterwards you get to see the magic of us going through stuff. I think it'll be cool to tomorrow. We'll start off with some character pages. It'll be a good way to get hyped for a stream. There's a good we went through 11 of them here, and that's a pretty good start. I'd also love to go through some of the character diary entries, but I gotta get going before I'm here forever talking about Zomboid. As always, though, thank you guys for watching and for popping out to the stream or the video after. Yeah, if you guys want to check out the season, you know, go to the website, projectzomboidroleplay.com. Join the Discord, get yourself whitelisted, and then get yourself into an awesome world. You know, it's gonna be a hype season. I'm gonna be on it quite a bit. That's the plan. So I'll see you guys all in it. Thank you guys for watching.